Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will go through what will be, in my opinion, the most profitable professions at the launch of Dragonflight in patch 10.0. So really here, I want to highlight the fact that some of the professions and some of the items I'm going to talk about in today's video might not be as relevant later in the expansion, but they will be at the launch. So really this video focuses only on the launch. So for each of these profession, each time I will explain what are the different specializations you want to focus on and what are the items you want to craft, and also what is the best strategy in order to make as much gold as possible with each of these professions. So let's start with mining and herbalism. This is really the two professions that I think you should choose number one. So both of them will be extremely interesting because gathering is going to be really good during the first few weeks when the prices of all the different materials won't be too bad and where everyone will have to buy a lot of these materials in order to upgrade their different professions, and simply because this is at that moment of the expansion where there are the most people playing and buying things from the auction house. So really, especially with the region-wide auction house, you should be able to make a lot of gold very early in the expansion by choosing mining and gathering. So these two professions will be extremely easy for you to pick. All you want to do is when you arrive in the new continent, you directly want to go to this little town that is just after the starter zone. And here you can directly learn mining and herbalism. So I would recommend you to do that and to have one character with both, because like that, you will really be able to make the best use of these two gathering professions. What I would recommend you to do is to have either a Tauren or high mountain Tauren, or maybe a Dractyr. These are going to be the best classes, in my opinion, to start the profession. And also, I would definitely recommend you to do it while you're leveling, because you will be earning some experience each time you mine or you get some flowers. So for me, I think this is really the perfect thing you can do at the beginning. So when it comes to mining, once you have unlocked the profession and when you will reach 25 in mining, what you want to do is unlock the mining process and really focus on that. So as you can see, each time you will earn some new skill points and you will be able to unlock some of the sub specializations. But what is really interesting is that at the end, you will be able to have this bonus where basically you will be able to gather some ore and mine while being mounted on the Dragon Isle. So really, this is something that will be extremely, extremely good. And this is why you should definitely aim for this specialization at first. Then when it comes to the different sub-specializations, I would say that either sorting, that will basically allow you to extract some new and better materials from some of the veins and ores, I think might be good. And then you also have this one that will basically allow you to gain more of the ore that you are mining from the different items. So I think these two are the best. Of course, this one can also be very interesting. But really, for me, focus on that, these two, and you really want anyway to have all of them unlocked in order to then have the possibility to mine while being mounted on the Dragon Isles. After that, for herbalism, it's going to be pretty similar. So here you want to go on botany. And again, when you reach 25 with herbalism, you want to select this one. And then here it will be the same thing as with mining. When you reach the maximum level, you will be able to gather all the different herbs while being mounted. So again, this is going to be extremely good. And here, really, I think both of them are pretty interesting. So this one basically will allow you to gather some plants from some of the mobs, creatures that are plant creatures from the Dragon Isles. And so I think this is something that could be very nice, especially if you want to then maybe do some big farms and things like that. And then you also have this one that will just, I think, allow you to plant some seeds and then get some herbs, a little bit in your garrison. So definitely something that can be good as well. But anyway, you want to unlock both of them to then have access to this system. So really, for me, I think if you can have one character that you level up directly with these two professions, that could be really, really good. And again, these materials are going to be like only really profitable in the first few weeks. And after that, especially with the region-wide auction house, probably the quantity is going to be super high and the prices are going to crash, and then it won't be as profitable. So that's something that you can do in the first few weeks if you really like gathering. So after that, at number 2, we're going to have Inscription. Inscription is going to be extremely interesting both for people who just want to craft some normal items and sell them on the auction house, or the people who want to also participate in the little bit more advanced system with the crafting orders. Both these systems will be extremely good for Inscription. So you have many different items that will be extremely relevant at the beginning of the expansion. You have, for instance, all the different missives that are going to be very, very useful for people who want to craft new armor pieces, weapons, and really for people who want to have the best stats possible. So these missives are going to be extremely, extremely good. After that, you also have some runes that people will be able to use on their weapons. So these runes are going to be extremely useful as well. So trust me, a lot of people are going to buy those. Also, Inscription will be able to craft all the different contracts for the reputation, and reputations are going to be extremely important in Dragonflight. So in the early days of Dragonflight, a lot of people will buy these different contracts in order to gain even more reputation with the different factions of Dragonflight. You also have the Ventus rune for the first raid. This is always something that can also sell and something that you can just post on the auction house and then you are done. Next to that, you have a few more interesting things. So first of all, with Inscription, you will be able to craft some staffs and also some of the held in offhand weapons. So it's very, very good because Blizzard announced that basically with Dragonflight, they won't have any weapon BOEs. So you won't be able to really buy any good BOEs from the auction house. The only way is going to be by crafting them and then selling them on the auction house. So here, it's really good because you have the blue ones that people will be able to directly buy on the auction house. And then you have the little bit more advanced one that will be through the crafting order system. So really, with all these different items, you will be able to make quite a lot of gold, and it will allow Inscription to remain relevant even after the launch. So this is definitely good. After that, of course, you're going to have all the different Dark Moon decks and the Dark Moon deck box. So basically, when you craft one of these Dark Moon deck, you can then normally upgrade it, and this is something again that will work through the crafting order, but this is something that will allow these different trinkets to remain relevant throughout at least the first patch and maybe throughout the expansion. So this is extremely good. And of course, next to that, you can craft some of the bundles of Dark Moon cards that can also be very, very good. So you have a lot of different items, as you can see. And I think all these different things are going to be extremely, extremely relevant, especially at the launch. When it comes to the profession you really want to focus on, I would say archiving is going to be the one, because you have, of course, all the different specializations for the Dark Moon decks. Then you also have the ones for the missives. So I think this is really what you want to do first. And again, it's really up to you to then see if maybe you want to go there or there instead. But in my opinion, this is going to be the best build for the launch and what you should do. After that, we're going to have Blacksmithing. Blacksmithing is going to be extremely good for many different reasons. First of all, with Blacksmithing, you will be able to craft all the different profession tools and accessories, which will be extremely important for all the different professions. So this is something you will be able to make a lot of gold with, especially early in the expansion. Next to that, there is also some of the whetstones that will allow you to add some new stats to your weapons. So again, this is something that a lot of classes will use and that you can sell really easily on the auction house. Then, of course, after that, what is going to be the main thing with Blacksmithing is all the different armors that you can craft, but more especially all the different weapons. As I already mentioned, with Dragonflight, they won't have any world BOEs, weapons, or weapon BOEs from the new raids. So all the weapons people will be able to buy on the auction house will be through just a few professions. And Blacksmithing is the main one. So you will be able to sell all the different blue weapons early in the expansion, and trust me, they will sell pretty well. And then, of course, you will be able, through the system of the crafting order, to craft all the more advanced weapons. So I think these are going to be extremely important and really what will be the most profitable items you want to craft with blacksmithing. So when it comes to the specialization, I would really recommend you to focalize on weaponsmithing because again, I think weapons are going to be some of the best items you can craft with blacksmithing. And then it really depends which ones you want to focus on. Usually I would say that long blades and like short blades in general are really good, but again, maces and hammers can also be good, and same with axes, picks, and pole arms. But I would say priority to blades, then the maces and hammers, and last the axes, picks, and pole arms. But really, for me, blacksmithing is gonna be good, and even if it's gonna require a little bit more time for you to like get all the different recipes, and then try to have the best set and everything in order to be able to craft the best items, it's still going to be good, like even early in the expansion with the blue weapons and with all these other items you can craft. And after that, at number 4, we're going to have leatherworking. So leatherworking is going to be extremely good because you have a lot of items you can craft. You have all the different armor pieces from leather and from mail. And also you have a lot of other items that can be very interesting, especially at the launch. So again, here we have the return of some very interesting items, such as, for instance, all the different armor kits. So these ones are going to be extremely, extremely useful, and a lot of people are definitely going to use them. Then you have, of course, the different drums. These items always sell, and so it's good to have them up on the auction house early in the expansion. You also have 3 toys that are probably going to be interesting in the first few weeks because a lot of people are simply going to buy them from the auction house and there is no requirement. So anyone can buy them from the auction house. And then, of course, next to that, you have all the different armor pieces. So you will really have a lot of items to craft. You will have all the different blues from both mail armor pieces and leather armor pieces. Then you will have all the different epic items through the, again, system, the crafting orders. And after that, you have also like a lot of other interesting items. So you will have some of these elemental patterns. And as you can see, some of them are part of like a certain set. So these ones will definitely be interesting. You also have the bestial patterns. So same, these are like specific equipments for some of the classes. And then finally, the decayed patterns. So with all these different items, you will really be able to make a lot of gold just by crafting all these items. After that, you also have like an interesting weapon. You have a crossbow. So that's maybe something that you will be able to make a little bit of gold with. And finally, you have all the different profession equipments. So with all these different things, you will definitely be able to make a lot of sales. And trust me, this is going to be good. When it comes to the best specialization, I would say that mail armor crafting is going to be probably like the best because with the new class, the drag tier, being a male like wearer, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to play this class and a lot of people are going to require some male armor pieces. So I would say maybe try by focusing on male armor pieces, and then you can maybe go to either the leather armor crafting or maybe also the primordial leatherworking. But for me, I would say focus first on male, and then after that you will be able to see. After that, at number 5, we're going to have Jewelcrafting. Jewelcrafting is going to be good because you have all the different gems that are necessary for everyone. So this is a profession that will anyway remain relevant throughout the expansion. And next to that, you also have a lot of armor pieces that you can craft with this profession. So you first have, of course, all the different trinkets that can be extremely, extremely powerful. And also you have all the different necklaces and rings. So really, jewelcrafting is always good because with just like the trinkets, the rings and the necklaces, this is something that everyone will need. And so you can really have a lot of demands for all these different items. And again, you will also be able to craft all the like green and blue version of these different like items. So you will be able to make some gold even if you don't really want to play with the crafting order system. And next to that, of course, you have all the different, again, gems that are going to be extremely good, especially because now there is the return of the epic gems. And after that, you have like a lot of other cool things. For instance, here you have some new pets. You have like a lot of new kind of items that you will be able to use. You have like a lot of new toys as well. So again, these things will at some point make you some gold. And then some of the profession equipment. So really, I would say this is definitely something that is going to be relevant. When it comes to the like specialization, I would say that really for me, setting is going to be the best because again, you can then focus on the rings, the necklaces, and also the different trinkets. I would say try at first to focus on the rings and necklaces because this is what people need the most. And again, for the trinkets, you already have the Dark Moon decks and you will probably have other items. So really, I think even if it's good, the focus should be on the rings and necklaces. And after that, it will be up to you to see where you want to go after. I think definitely jewels, toolset mastery is going to be good. And also enterprising, but setting is going to be the one you want to focus on early in the expansion. And after that, at number 6, we're going to have skinning. So skinning is going to be pretty good. This is another gathering profession. So it's very easy. And this is something you can pick up directly when you start Dragonflight. And it will be pretty relevant, especially at the beginning, because again, the prices won't be too bad and you will still be able to sell a lot of all these different levers. The only issue with skinning is, well, first of all, you don't really have this, like possibility to, for instance, like skin while being mounted or things like that. So it's a little bit less good. And also with the new system that Blizzard introduced, where basically you can skin one like mob and then someone else can skin the same mob, the prices and the value of all the different levers, especially in Shadowlands, really crashed. And so I'm pretty sure even after just 1 week, definitely like skinning is not going to be as interesting as, for instance, gathering, like, you know, ore or plants. So that's why I'm putting it only there at number 6. It's still going to be good. And for me, what you want to do is as soon as you unlock the different specializations, you want to take harvesting because you will be able to get some of these little stomachs, and this is very similar to the ones you were able to get in Cataclysm, and basically like that you will be able to get even more items. And then I would say this one, the trophy collector, is definitely going to be good, and also the meat carver. But really, skinning is something you should consider only when you already have herbalism and mining. And this is really just something you can do during the first few weeks. After that, I don't think it's going to be as profitable as some of these other professions. At number 8, we're going to have tailoring. So tailoring is another very important profession because you can craft, of course, all the different armor pieces for all the cloth classes. So this is definitely a good profession. I'm only putting it at number 8 because while there are like a lot of interesting items, I feel like it's more limited. And so definitely if you want to like focus on some of these other crafting professions, I would say blacksmithing and leatherworking are more interesting. But there are still a lot of interesting items we can go through. So of course, the first few ones are going to be all the different bags. So bags are really important. And with the new like 34 slots, it's definitely be something you will be able to make a lot of gold, especially in the first few days of the expansion. Next to that, you have like quite a lot of interesting items. So you have all the different like armor pieces. So you have the blue, the green that you will directly be able to post on the auction house, and then all the epics that you will be able to use and craft through the crafting order system. Next to that, you have like a lot of other type of armor pieces, very similar to leatherworking, that will definitely be interesting. Then you have a lot of the profession, like garments and like these type of items, which also is going to be pretty good. Then you have some of these, like items you can attach to your legs. And these are also be very, very good for all the different caster classes. So really good and something that will sell definitely throughout the expansion. After that, you have like a few interesting items. So you have like a few toys that definitely you will be able to make a little bit of gold with. You have these different like, you know, banners and things like that. So you definitely have like a few other items that can be interesting, but really armor pieces, bags, and these like leggings, you know, like enchantments are going to be the main ones. So when it comes to the specialization, I would say that, of course, for the different armor pieces, this one might be the best, and you might want to focus on the cloaks, because really, well, cloaks are the different items that everyone can use, and usually the items you make the most gold with. But then, of course, you also have like other items that can be pretty interesting. Textile might be pretty interesting. Same with tailoring mastery, but it's really up to you. I would start with garment crafting and really try to specialize yourself early in the cloaks. And after that, it's up to you. So after that, at number 7, we're going to have Alchemy. Alchemy is really interesting in Dragonflight because it received a lot more potions and vials to like craft. And so it really makes Alchemy more important. So you have, of course, a lot of items that are going to be extremely important, especially when the first season of Dragonflight is going to be released 2 weeks after the launch. So you have all the different potions that are going to be, of course, items that will sell very, very fast and very easily on the auction house. You also have all the different vials. So all these items are definitely going to be good. Next to that, you also have like 2 trinkets. So this is also a good addition and things you will be able to craft and then sell through the crafting order. You also have some like crafting regent and optional regent. You have access to the transmutation for some of these new materials, the different awakened components. So this is really good as well. And yeah, you have finally the cauldrons that I think are also going to be pretty useful. But again, this is binds for to your Blizzard account, unfortunately. But overall, really, I would say Alchemy is going to be good. The only issue I have is that definitely potions and vials are going to sell fast, but they're extremely going to be good when the first raid is going to be released. And unfortunately, it's not going to be in the first few days. And so I think probably by the time these potions and vials are going to be extremely relevant, the prices of the materials will be extremely low. And so the prices and the value of these different items will also be pretty low. And again, keep in mind, these different like crafted consumables will be part of the region-wide auction house. So unfortunately, the value might really be a little bit low. So that's why I'm only putting it at number 7, because even if it's something a lot of people will use, the value might not be as interesting in the first few days. So after that, I would say really for me, the potion mastery might be the best. Potions are what people are going to consume the most. And then you might want to focus on vial mastery just after that. So that's going to be pretty much it for today's video. I know there are many other professions I didn't mention, but it's simply because I think at the launch, these are going to be the most interesting ones. So of course, for instance, enchanting is also going to be good. It's just that I really think like these type of professions are going to be heavily impacted by the region-wide auction house. And so I don't think they're really worth at the beginning this investment. Probably later in the expansion, they're going to be way more relevant. But yes, so I hope it will help you see a little bit clearer in terms of what you want to do early in the expansion. Again, I would highly recommend you, for instance, to have one character with both gathering professions and then one character with maybe like blacksmithing and inscription, something like that. Normally, it will help you like really just with 2 characters to already cover a lot of very, very profitable professions. But it's up to you to see what you want to do. So I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos. And in the meantime, I wish you all a great weekend. Bye.